Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Asia Marquet here, Lemon Creation, and today I have a set of 3 ATC cards, artist trading cards, and I used to create them my new set of stamps. So I hope you'll stay tuned. I am working on a kind of leftover piece of paper. This is gonna be mixed media paper. I like to work on it because it can withstand a lot of water, a lot of paints, and unlike watercolor paper, it's actually very easy to stamp on because it doesn't have, the crevices and, all the texture. I started to make a book with swatches of colors, the colors which work together very well. And so I choose one of the, or rather 2 magicals. Again, full list of products you're gonna find in the description box below. And hopefully for this video you're gonna also have subtitles for all of you who wants to have some subtitles. I experimented last week with the subtitles, and it's just my pronunciation is not perfect, so it's getting a little bit all over the place, the subtitles, and the words are sometimes very funny. But I'm gonna try. I just got this idea into my head that maybe I can actually try and fix them so the words are more readable and they're not gonna be changed just because the YouTube or wherever that is, the software doesn't recognize my voice. So as you've seen, I sprayed the water, I added some powders and moved the colors around, but I decided to add a little bit of green. This is greased Lightning green. This is also the color from the same set of magicals. And I'm gonna dry everything. You can of course leave it to air dry, but being impatient as I am, I am gonna dry it with a heat gun, and I always dry it on both sides because like that you avoid most of the working. And now I'm gonna cut it to ATC sides, but I'm gonna take away 2 millimeters from each side. I don't know how much it is in inches, but it's just a tiny bit, because I know that I'm gonna place them on the black paper. So the black paper is gonna have exactly it's gonna be exactly the ATC sides, and these ones are gonna be just a tiny bit smaller. And this paper, this scrap, I'm gonna actually put the names of the magicals I used, and like that I'm gonna glue it in my new notebook with the swatches. And like that also I'm gonna have idea for next project, next color combo, somewhere far in the future. I really like this notebook. I find it's very nice, and for me, who is struggling always with the color combos, I think this is a very good idea. Of course I'm inking or blackening the edges with the Archival ink. Archival ink is still one of my favorite inks. Lately I changed into VersaFine, which you can see just right here. It's Onyx black, but this one is really good for precise stamping, while Archival ink is good for many other things like blackening the edges, for example, and stamping also. And this is those are the 3 new sets of my stamps. I am really happy with them. I don't know if you've noticed, one just flew away from my hands. And this is the set I actually prefer because, me, all about crunch and to, kind of geometrical things and stuff like that. I'm trying, yes, that's the VersaFine Onyx black. I'm trying first my stamps on the piece of paper. You can see I already did it with the first set of stamps, which I showed you the project last week. Just because with the first use, very often they are sticky, and if your ink is not very good, you may have a problem with the impression. But VersaFine is just really saved my life. I remember when I released the very first stamps, I actually used I think that either StazOn or Archival ink, and I had big problems. They were sticky. It was very hard to actually get a good impression. I had to use a stamping platform, and also, you know, it's very good to leave the ink on the stamps, so like that the stickiness is going away easier. But I don't know if it's just the stamps are a little bit different this time or what's happened. The impression is just perfect, and this is actually the very first time I'm using this stamp set. So, you know, I'm playing around, I'm trying to kind of move the stamp differently on the ATCs, so I don't get the exact same impression on each of the cut. So if you've seen the first one, I think I did, you know, like, you know, the middle, and now I'm just playing, you know, and putting it either horizontally or vertically, just to have a different part of the stamp on the ATC and have them a little bit different. So those are the 3 cards. I really find it a very neat idea to first make the page, you know, color the page and then cut it, because like that you don't overthink and you have the colors, and you can cut it also, you know, by moving, you know, choosing basically the best parts of the paper, and like that, you know, that looks really nice, I think. On the black paper also, that adds a little bit of finish touch and kind of coherence between the black stamp and the black background, so it's also very cool to do it. And right now I'm using black Gesso to color some stars. They are wooden stars, and on top of Gesso, which is still not dry, I am spreading is not a good word, but I'm just putting the black embossing powder. This one is from Lindy's Stamp Gang. And like that, I will not only have a Gesso, but Gesso is nice, but, you know, black Gesso is kind of dull, the color is kind of dull, so it's best, you know, to cover it with either waxes or embossing powder. Like that you don't have to add also the embossing ink, you can just get that. I was not sure what to use for the as a focal point for these cards, and I thought it's kind of you know, like nebulous looking, the color combos, I don't know. That's, you know, sometimes I just go with the flow, and this time I did that. I'm using a little bit of cheesecloth, which I colorized before with the black spray, and so like that it's all black. I'm tearing it apart so it doesn't have this kind of square, you know, like a cheesecloth has. And I am gluing everything, and I just decided that my stars look still a tiny bit dull-ish, so I am using izink. This is transparent sparkle powder. I think I just heated a little bit the embossing powder, which was already on the stars, and I placed a tiny bit of you know, the sparkling embossing powder on top of it. And I'm using my really messy words, if I'm not mistaken, to finish the cards. And that is all for this project. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for all of you who made a purchase in my shop, who leave the comments in my shop. This is very important for me. You know, when I have good comments, I believe I have more clients also. Thank you for subscribing. I got so many orders, and I am really happy. I'm happy that you like my designs, and you know, there is still a summer sale going on, and I always try to put a tiny gift into your order. So thanks for that. Thanks for watching. I wish you a beautiful summer or, wow, winter, depending where you are in the world. And I hope I'm gonna see you in the next video, and sending you big hugs. Bye bye.